Does the width between an individual's eyes give them better court vision? I've always wondered this, especially when it comes to Steve Nash, because those things are far apart, those eyeballs. Look at this. I mean, it has to help, right? Even like Rondo to an extent. I feel like his eyes are far apart. So where do we start?
Many of the details she still keeps private. She said at the time she reported the assault.
Let's start with my informed take. First, yes, Steve Nash's eyes are incredibly above average in terms of distance between them. And on top of that, he has what my mom refers to as crazy eye. You know, when one of your eyes aren't dead on straight, like a drifter. You know what I'm talking about. We all know someone like this. It's usually not a huge deal, and typically not even a deal breaker kind of facial anomaly. Point is, not only are his eyes far apart, the right pupil is as far right as it gets. And as we know, especially just going over the one-eyed scout story, it's our two eyes that give us depth perception. In other words, how far away every individual thing is, which turns out to be incredibly important for basketball. The two-eye setup also gives us our wide field of view, the blurry peripheral, and the sharp stuff when you move further in. But other animals, other than human, can have a much wider field of view. Squirrels, birds, some of them can literally see all the way around, which is ridiculous. Full 360 degrees at all times. Just come on, think about it. Think about the crazy no-look behind the back passes when there is no look, and everything is in fact in front of the back, including behind the back. Now sure, Steve Nash may not have pigeon eyes, but with the eyes further apart and most certainly an expanded peripheral, he is seeing stuff, cutters, spot-up corner shooters that other players literally cannot see. So, let's say we were constructing the ideal basketball player, outside of them being tall, we may want them to have crazy eyes. And there's even more to this. And it's funny because the other day me and my son were talking about how it's not really a fact that we all live in the same moment. I mean, all of our presents, like our nows, are slightly different. And it's based on the time it takes for your particular sorry-ass eyes and overworked brain to process the light. It's being bounced off of things. I mean, sure, it's like microseconds or zeptoseconds, but there is a difference between when you and Kent Bazemore are able to read and react to a situation, if you're standing right next to each other. Okay, here's an example, if this doesn't make sense. Did you know that the common housefly processes light faster than us common humans? And yes, that means that when we are crashing into walls at our most nimble, mind you, waving a paper around, trying to murder a fly, the fly actually sees us moving in a bit of a slow motion. And that's why it can avoid us with ease, almost as if it knows what we're gonna do before we do it. It does. It technically does. And if you don't believe me, take this up with the Magic School Bus, the new one, with Miss Frizzle's younger, just as irresponsible cousin or something. She's younger. Point is, how does light processing speed not get folded into some sort of combine measurement? I mean, it seems useful, right? Folks who are really good at basketball, they do say that things kind of feel like they slow down. The game starts to slow down. You know, maybe it always was slow for you. Maybe you always were a micron ahead of the rest of us. Maybe not us. I mean, that could literally be true for some players. Shit. Hey, what are you eating? What are you eating? What? Sit. Hi. For some people, that they're living in the future, in the moment, in the present. Random thought. One common way to filter down to only the most exciting plays in sports history is to look for the moments when both announcers, the color commentary and the play-by-play guy, saying woo at the same time. No immediate clever commentary, no taking turns, just both announcers screaming at the same exact time and then returning to their routine. You ever get those moments? Something special just happened, right? The system broke down. They are no longer going by their script. They are just being humans in a moment.
Calm you down. They'll work their plays. Steal. He kept it in bounds. Here it is again. Oh! Yes! Oh!
You also might be surprised how infrequent it is. It's amazing how much restraint the non-play-by-play guys have. I mean, amazing dunks, game winners, playoff game winners. I can't tell you how many highlights I have watched. The unbelievable happens and they are able to just keep that to themselves. I always thought it was incontrollable. You know, those yells. Whoa! What? I thought those were incontrollable. But they just wait their turn and add their 2 cents when the play-by-play guy is done.
Neal got a piece of it. Brady.
Well, this is the reversal of fortune. First, LeBron James tries to test Jermaine O'Neal and gets it sent back. And Dwayne Wade right at the body of Anderson Varejao. Welcome to your...
No. That was close. Listen, we here at the Storyteller Industries refuse to let Reggie Miller finish that.
Welcome to your coach.
No, Reggie. No, Reggie.
But...
No buts, Reggie. Well, not yet. Anyway. And they stay excited. They keep that energy up. The good ones do. But as I alluded to, sometimes they just can't wait. Sometimes it is uncontrollable. It does happen more often with the local guys, the local team broadcasters, but still, even that's rare. But just to make it clear, after a whole darn day of sifting through the NBA's most shocking and most amazing and most greatest moments, I ended the day with 4 clips, hundreds on hundreds of clips to learn that there is an unnatural amount of restraint, or I guess weird professionalism going on here. What we have is a play-by-play guy who makes the call and gets to have the reaction, while the entire rest of the broadcast team just sits in silence or with their hands over their mouth, waiting for a turn to be excited, which doesn't always work out. Listen, I'm sure there's more of these. I'm sure more than 4 times the system is broken down and we accidentally saw real human reactions from real humans who happen to be next to microphones. Now, I will say in my search, there were a few times that I thought I heard 2 voices initially screaming, hollering at the same time, like this clip.
It's a physical game.
But I can't really determine if that little almost laugh-like sound in the beginning is the second guy, the analyst, or it's just the runway into the "oh me oh my, oh if you don't believe it now then for basketball's sake, oh whatever" from old trusty McDougal. Point is, these 4 clips are indisputable. 2 or more professional guys screaming at the same time like pure fans. Except they're on TV.
Hornets got a pair. Lamb lost it. Has to fire. Oh! What? Jeremy Lamb wins it. Unbelievable.
What just happened?
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger? Game, series, Toronto has won.
David blocks in the playoffs. Great passing.
And you just cannot deny the excitement of the moment, the energy, and I think it's really fun. Now, side note, up until now, I've been approaching this from an American point of view, where I guess the ideal situation, or at least the one that happens the most, is to not have more than one person talking or making any kind of sound, especially as you go up the ladder. You see, at the network level, we have this crew, the Breen team, and then some variation on TNT, Kevin Harlan or Marv Albert. You know what happens? Nobody ever squeezes their way into a Mike Breen bang. Yeah, okay. At least I couldn't find a single instance. Not the LeBron block, the Steph shot, where the other guys are heard during these incredible moments. I feel like that's some sort of contractual thing. I don't know, I feel like Mike Breen really wants to have his moment. In this situation, they may even be cutting Mark and Jeffy's mic. I don't know. Or maybe these guys are just so jaded, it's not much for them. Same for the TNT crew. As much as people get on Reggie, Reggie will always wait patiently to add his extremely dated references, the ones we won't play here. Similar to Mark on ABC, who has that "Mama there goes that pan" Man, mama, there goes that fan.
Mama, there goes that mama.
Cocked and ready to go. But again, this is from some weird American POV. And honestly, that's kind of weird, because those clips we played were pretty darn fun, hearing those real, genuine reactions in the moment. Not worrying about overbalancing the natural conversation and the TV performance and just going with it. But how about the rest of the world? Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and use this Steph Curry dagger as our test. And we know, in this situation, Mike Breen hit the kill switch on everybody's mic. He was alone with his bang. It's actually incredible how long until somebody else got a chance to say something. You know, they wait for the replay for the analyst guy to say something. But again, for reference, let's play
They
it.
do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Westbrook gets off a decent look. The banker.
In this case, Jeffy did not keep the excitement up. It had been nearly 30 seconds since the excitement happened. We have been through a big board replay of it, and he finally gets a chance to talk, and he clearly is not keeping up the energy. And you know what? That's fine. It would be kind of odd. Some people do it better. But now let's check out some international broadcasters in this exact same moment.
Ils vont jouer le shoot de la victoire pour Curry. Il est loin. Et il est dedans. Il est dedans.
C'est pas vrai.
Che non chiede il timeout. Che
So sure, it's clear that I like the team approach to big moments, especially if they're reserved for the genuinely shocking. And yes, it probably could get messy if that's how the entire broadcast is. And of course, it would be hell for anyone trying to cut together the montage. I mean, you could not have two people trying to drop catchphrases at once. Imagine Kevin Harlan and Marv Albert waxing poetically at the same damn time. But let's take a step back. Because when you take all this into account, and you actually notice this when you watch games, you might come to the conclusion that I did. That this strict, clinical, turn your head and cough approach to human excitement, it's kinda cold. And lonely. And back to the sun. Humans are nuts and constantly adjusting to new realities. As I always say, we're all just 2.5 days worth of bad decision making away from eating out of a dumpster enthusiastically. Shucks, man. People used to pray to the sun. They made sacrifices to the sun. And now we're like, let me get this summer tan real quick. Thanks, flaming ball in space. Hope you didn't kill me a little bit too much today. This is also why this expanded grip and obsession of super teams and joining forces and even how much help does that guy need seems odd. I mean, it is what it is now, right? It is what it is. It's the way it is. It's also what we've dreamt of. It's also what we've created over and over again for ourselves at our own discretion, over and over and over again. Team-ups are everything for us. We are so God-blessed, impressed, and obsessed with team-ups that we don't even need 5 different people on our team-ups. Just give me 5 of the same guy, right? 5 of the same guy from different universes. And we're pleased. This is what we keep making. So of course that's the reality we live in. But I get it. I do. Because what we know to be true and effectively expect are different from the persona that we dance around in every day. Because none of it makes sense. Here's something I think about often. I mean, all you have to do is head up, that way a few miles, and then bam, your pocket lint levitates. And somehow most of us are like, cute, can't wait to show my niece. What? Your shit's floating. But let someone get crossed over, and you're gonna get this every single time.
Kyrie Irving. Crossover. Got it! Oohs and ahs from the crowd.
This has happened way more than all the space activity combined. But we don't get tired of it. And I think it's because the failure part is baked in right away. The immediacy of a winner and a loser. I'm not being naive here. I get there's not a lot of payoff the 15th time you've seen some curly-haired nerd in a pale blue onesie slurping water spheres out of the air. I mean, I've seen this clip of Ricky Rubio taking it, 80 times? A lot.
Shoot the three and did that right before the half. Or he could drive on it.
You know what I want to see out of a robot? I want to see a robot guard. Come on in. It's been 15 minutes. All right, let's do this. You know what I want to see out of a robot? I want to see a robot guard Kyrie Irving.
Irving, great move. Yes, with 10 fast break points. Suddenly Portland with 11. Irving. Whoa, was waiting to go. Still looking for that.
Or Kyle Lowry, right? There's no way in the next reasonable amount of time that a robot will be able to successfully defend this without fouling.
Help, sending him to his right, send him middle and get help.
Lowry falling away. Got it. Kyle Lowry.
It's his butt. He uses his larger than average butt to create space, little gaps, like here. I mean, he really hits the defender with his butt in the midst of making a bucket. Yeah, butt in the midst. Good Lord, this is entirely too much butt stuff. Can you please cut some of this down? Like half of it.
Weren't you the one who wrote all that? But
Right there. He's knocking him off the side. He's bending his butt over just to get a little space. Bucket. This is an interesting one because he spins, creates the space right there with his butt, and gets more space than just a normal spin, and gets to the bucket off his butt. Then this one, it's subtle. It's quick. He's not really sticking it out. He just uses it as a barrier, a large barrier, to keep somebody away from his shooting hand. And I don't see how a robot can compensate for that. Well, okay, never mind. Let's just get back to his backside.
Is this actually recording?
Right, dear. So I have this little letter here to all the robots and future robots. Dear robots, there isn't a single TI-80 or bioscience-related Xenobot available now or in the near future that can, number 1, keep up with him, number 2, defend him well, and number 3, at the last second, mind you, at a whim's notice, maintain your position when he big bums you with his Bigfoot-sized big butt.
But
Seriously, good defense is so hard to compute or program. Even humans had to find a workaround, right? They basically hacked a separate system to create a way of stopping good evolving offense. And that hack is the flop. Think about it. Think about flopping. It's not actually a technique to win a basketball game. I mean, it's even typically bad position that you end up giving up when you flop. I mean, as a strategy in an independent vacuum, it's not a good basketball strategy. There's nothing to do with the game.
What is Dakari Johnson supposed to do?
Because the strategy isn't about the play or other players. Its singular goal is to make these guys glitch. It only exists to make their processing receptors malfunction. These guys are not actually playing the game, but they're being led externally, influenced, triggered, so that in real time, they see something that didn't actually happen. It's pretty brilliant stuff. I applaud it, actually, the concept of flopping.
These are the whales clicking these guys literally from the inside out to see what they're all about.
You know what I think? Nice job. Anything you want to say?
Subscribe and ring the bell. And bye.
How do you know about ring the bell?
Oh, I've